Hello, class. Today we're going to talk about something that the big tent, the circus loves to fucking avoid. And basically how, just from the very fucking beginning, how clown schools were whitewashed from the very beginning. Like, it's not meant for black folks to enjoy and join as well. It's not for them. It's whitewashed and it's for their people. It's not for us. They love to teach you the correct way of doing stuff, but they don't like to teach you how the correct way is also just clearly erasing groups of people, like, black people, from being involved in the process, when you're in a clown training school. Clown schools love to basically be like, we love to teach classic European techniques, teach the white face clown look. We love to teach the classic European foundation, the gust clown, the character clown. Those are like the original traditions they love to talk about. Clown schools are just really hard to, adopt to like modern knowledge of what we know, and how we're not stupid. We know that these looks are racist, babe. We know that the white face is for a standard of European and not just some magical clown look y'all came up with. We know the history. They just love to play like we're dumb, and they make y'all put on that white face clown as y'all foundation for looks. It's hard to incorporate your real own truth idea without the white face clown being fucking involved. So yeah, basically they love to take black performers, like, creativity, ideas, stuff like that, incorporate that shit into their schools, whiten that shit up, but they don't like to include them in the fucking history of what they like to teach their students. This curriculum is built on selective memory. Like, oh, black clowns? Yeah, sure. They helped build a couple things. Yeah, there were some black clowns, but they didn't make any history or nothing, guys. So it's mostly white, just white. Yeah, it's white. Make sure you wear that white face paint on your face. Whole time, no. They just like to erase us. They want to erase us. Erase. So, yeah. Mostly when you think of, like, circus school, like, what they like to promote is white male clown. Whoa, it's that easy, right? So yeah, their entire curriculum is built on white gatekeeping. They decided what's real clowning, what's not real clowning. Whatever makes them comfortable is what real clowning is, and whatever is maybe too black or just too out there is not real clowning. You're not a real clown. So, clown school is kind of strict when it comes to, stuff like that. From my knowledge, they never sat there and taught black performer slapstick ideas or black performer physical comedy. From my knowledge, there's no like, oh, this is what you can do if you're black, and this is what black clowns do, and a whole thing about them. It's just focused on what I just said, which is the white face clown and like the white European traditions in clowning. Some clown archetypes borrows from black performers, and they don't really like to talk about that. They never seem to teach the comedic techniques that black performers came up with during the minstrel era, where they had to do, routines and stuff like that. Doesn't seem like that's being taught either, how they kind of like try to like go over, the racism that the white circus owners wanted them to do. That's not really being taught. So yeah, not just to overcome that racism the performers that owns the circus wanted them to do. It's not even just that. It's just their techniques during that time doesn't really seem like they talk about that too much. Times are changing now, but I'm just saying times are changing not too crazily, but it's just not as like barbaric as it was back then, but it's just, it could be better. clown schools, not gonna lie. But like I said, clown schools are kind of built off this certain idea. And I know that some clown schools still use, the rainbow wigs, these certain makeup styles. Black people are kind of stuck in the august clown, and then on top of that, with the white face clown being like the standard, seen as pure, correct, the way of doing things, like the highest form of art. Like, it just matches the white person's skin tone so perfectly, because the white face clown, it's just like racism in clown form. It's just so odd, like how they really came up with to put racism in fucking clowning. Like, it's ridiculous. You would just think like, okay, black people join clown, shouldn't be too much like craziness, but it's all of this like built-in racism. You can't even fathom or think it would happen, but it does. It's so fucking weird. I have seen some black clowns and they're doing, African body techniques. Like I said, there's things that are changing in the clown world, but some things it's just not. Like, sometimes it's just not available of all this information about black comedy, acrobatics, how they do things, so it's unfortunate, to be honest with you. And black clowns are like boxed in, and white clowns can pretty much do anything that they want to do because they're white. But black clowns are like, okay, well, you can do this. You can do your African dances, but you can't do this. So Miss Lala and also Pablo. Pablo is a person who did horse riding, who had his act stolen by a white performer. Miss Lala was a black performer who did acrobatics, and she got her technique stolen. Hear about Miss Lala, do you? No, you don't. You're not gonna hear about her in clown school and how she got her act stolen from some white person. And Pablo, he was like a master innovator, a circus owner, and he got his shit stolen. So it's just like, yeah, it's just very focused on what they want you to know and not more so about the history of the real shit that went on in the circus for your knowledge. They just want you to know what you need to know in their European box, and that's pretty much what you're gonna get. Like, yeah. Black people were very much involved in the process of the big tent, of the creation of the big tent. Black people helped set up the music, the performing, even when they had to hide and put on fucking white makeup so you don't really see them, and they have to be race neutral so you can't tell if they're really black. It's just crazy shit like that. They're a part of it. Even before the circus was even there, they had their stuff and this shit got stolen. So that's some shit they would not tell you in the fucking little circus clown schools. They'll actually be like, they're actually catching on to us. Let's actually start, putting some curriculums together where we can teach our students about these black performers and these black people that were erased from a big tent because some racist people at the time did that to them. Like, change their behaviors, change their ways. But until then, that's just what it is. If you want to spell from me and healing, love, financial help, hit my links. Bye.